Good morning. Welcome back to another beautiful day in my garage. It's good to see all of you Shet heads out there. But we love you here. We love you. Don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, all that good stuff. I don't make these videos for me, I make them for you guys, and by you doing that, it makes me want to make more content to help everybody. So there you go. Let's do this, because I've seen a lot of videos now about how to synchronize and F3, and every single video I saw was horrible. No offense to the creators, but horrible, with a lot of misinformation and just bad info. And forcing you guys to do a lot more work than the job really is. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So when you want to synchronize your carbs, first you need a carb sync kit. If you don't know how to synchronize the actual gauges themselves, my suggestion to you is watch a few videos to understand how to synchronize to the master carb. Normally, before you start a synchronization, you want to take one carb, which is normally your master carb. It's the one that cannot be adjusted. Okay? Only 3 carbs can be adjusted on this bike. The last carb, which is known as the master carb or the captain carb, is the one that you're going to be hooking all your vacuum leads up to first to make sure they all have the same vacuum and they're all calibrated correctly before you hook them all up to their initial carburetor. So technically, this would be 1 through 4 if you were looking at it at the bike from this perspective, carbs going that way. Carb 1, 2, 3, and 4. Carb 2 is the one you're going in on, so it's the second carb in from the left side of the bike. That is normally your master carb. Check that in your manual, check that in your specs. A lot of bike manufacturers out there, could be different. About 90% of the time, your master carb is always the second carb in. So that being said, once you have your gauges calibrated, okay, you've hooked them all up one at a time, whether you mark it, the first one you mark it, right? So if you're hooking this one up to carb number 2, mark where it's at. Put a little mark there. That way you can see exactly where you started. And then when you check the second one, be like, oh, it's off a little bit. Pull the round cap off. You can unscrew this like so. There's a little twisty knob in there. Twist the knob until you get it to where you need it to be, right? Until it's perfectly synced up with where it should. You guys understand. Just watch the video. So now let's get on to the F3, because every video that I saw of people hooking this up did so much more unnecessary work. I'm a big dude. I have big forearms, and people couldn't get their hands in this gap right here. I have no idea how they couldn't, because I can get my hand all the way in there. So there's a bracket on the side of the engine right here that comes off. It just sits right here. If you remove this bracket, you can get your hand all the way up in there. First thing I did was reach down there and pull the plugs off of the carb sync holes for the vacuum lines. I did that by hand. Once I was done with that, I put each tube in there individually, and then I popped it on with my hands. I never had to take off the tank, the air box, all the way down, remove the carbs. All the videos I saw was people going way out of their way to get these set up. It literally all goes through one side of the bike, right here, boom. And then the last hole is right here. Your carb sync kit comes with tubes, and you have to figure out which side. There's one little screw here, okay? And that screw has to come out, and then you have to screw this in, like so. And then you have your last vacuum line set up right here, okay? So, the first thing I'm gonna do now that I have all the tubes on there and everything set up, I know the bike's gonna run, is I need to create a way to feed this bike gasoline. So our next logical step here is to figure out how to get gas to this engine. So we have to remove the tank. I'm gonna pull the seat off, we have to remove the tank, and then I'm going to see if I actually have to take the air box off to get to the adjustment screws for the carb. If I do not, that works perfectly, because then we don't have to worry about any of this stuff. This will be a really simple thing to do. So, hope for the best, plan for the worst. You guys know how that rolls. Right? Right. Alright, so let me get situated here. We're going to remove the tank. I have my 5 already ready to go to pull the top. And then we're going to probably have to pull the gas can around and put it over here so that I can run a line from the gas tank to the bike to keep it running. And then we're going to take a look at the air box and see if we have to actually remove the air box to get the adjustment screws for the synchronization portion of it for the carb. So let's get started with that. Okay, so as I suspected, and I couldn't see where they were, so next time I do this, I won't worry about doing this side of it. I won't worry about removing the air box, because now that I've got this off, I can see that it is not necessary to remove the air box. It's going to be a little frustrating. It's going to be hard to find the screws, but the reality is I don't need to remove the air box. And I'm going to try to show this to you guys to the best of my ability. Let's see if you can see it back there. That is one adjustment screw right there. I pulled this up out of the way so you can see the adjustment screw down there. You see it? So that's the adjustment screw right there for carbs 3 and 4 right there. And then if you come over here to the middle one, this is even going to be harder to see. You can see that there's one back in there. Oh my goodness, it is so hard to show this to you guys here. Back there is the other one. That one's going to be a pain to get to, but I think if I just push that line down, I can get to it fairly easily. It's just going to be a bit frustrating. So, and then here's the real pain in the ass one. There's one back underneath here that's going to be extremely difficult to get to. This is going to be a real... There, I think I got it. Okay, so you can do this with the air box on, right? It's just very frustrating. So, yeah, I think it's probably best that we did take it off until I really get honed in on where these screws are. But so that's the screws that we're going to be adjusting. So you've got one here, you've got one down here, and you've got one over here. Okay, so the screw on the right controls these two, and the far one on this side controls... I'm sorry, let me start this again. The furthest one over here controls these two. The farthest one on this side controls these two and pulls them together, and then the one in the middle pulls these to those until you have synchronization. I think that's the best way to explain it. So I'm going to start with the ones on the right when we start the bike, and then we're going to work on the ones on the left and get those tied in, and then we're going to tie them together until we have that perfect rhythmic synchronization in the engine. And by the way, guys, if I had it my way, I would be using mercury gauges, but don't have any, so we're sticking to this system, unfortunately, until I can get my Motion Pro Merc gauges in, and we'll go from there. But right now, this will give us a very decent bass tune, and so let's get this underway here. I gotta hook up a gas line to this, and then move my trash can a little bit closer over to here and put a feed line on it so that we can run the bike and adjust as we need to, and then I'll set the camera up again. Okay, I have done my best to cut out as much light as I can by closing the garage door to keep the reflection from happening, and also allowing you guys to see what's going on here. I need to grab a flashlight now because I'm gonna have a hard time seeing these seeing the screws that I need to be adjusting. So it's going to be a boatload of fun trying to do it from the opposite side of the bike, or even standing back here. You're going to have to wish me luck. So let me start warming up the bike here a little bit, and I'll see you guys in a sec. guys. They're pretty much dialed in. Now we're gonna let them all settle again. They all came back down. That one's showing a little bit lower, but that's because I throttle blipped it. That's pretty darn close, you guys. It sounds super responsive now. There's no hesitation. Well, I hope that video helped you guys. Mine weren't severely out of sync, but while I've got this head off, I'm actually probably going to do my spark plugs here next. I highly doubt they've been done in a while, so while I've already got this all off, I may as well snap the plugs out, because I know that these bikes really don't like plugs that have been in there for more than like 10 to 12,000 miles, and I'm assuming it's been a long time since this thing's probably had some spark plug love. So that'll be next thing on my list. I did throw the new cam tensioner on there, so that's looking all beautiful and gorgeous. And but yeah, while I've got this out, I'm probably just gonna snap some plugs in it. Just makes sense. So I can put it all back together now. It's running great. When you throttle blip it, even on small end, big end, fast, you know, if I blip it, it takes it. They all line up how they should and everything's gravy. So there you go. Hope that helped you guys out. Hope that helps you understand carb syncing. So this is your master carb right here. If you guys are wondering again, I suppose I can push all these back down. That one was about right there, but I think that's supposed to be up there like that. I think this line shrank a little bit over time. Anyways, close enough. So yeah, carb syncing is really easy. The screw that's furthest on this side ties these two together. The screw that's furthest on that side ties these two together. And then the screw in the middle ties both carbs together until they're synchronized. So I hope that helps. Pretty easy to do. Like I said, I did find that I could do this with the airbox on. It just is more difficult because you can't see the screws, but you definitely can get a tool in there to do it without having to remove the entire airbox setup. Not that it took that long. It was like 9 minutes to pull it out. So it's probably going to be 15 to put it back in, just because everything's going to have to go back in perfectly into alignment. So we'll let the bike cool off, and then I'll go ahead and start slapping it back together after I pull the plugs and stuff. So there you go, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, smash the like button, do all that crazy stuff. Remember, small adjustments, just tiny little adjustments, and see what happens. You know, if you start turning the screw one way and you see that they're going too low, then turn it the other way and they'll start coming back up. It's not difficult. You just need them both to line up. So once you have these two lined up with each other, then you need to line those two up with each other, and then you need to line all four up together with the middle screw. That's pretty much how it's done. All right, guys, I'll catch you on the flip. Toodles!
Are you sure this is okay? You're in country, dude. Live a little. Now, she's pretty sensitive, so go easy on the throttle, okay? All right.